It's normal. You guys ready for techies tomorrow? Techies for real tomorrow? Huh. Oh, I didn't realize what happened in Alliance. They lost 2 players. That's 4 in AGM. Oh, jeez. That's not good. That's crazy. Okay. So we're gonna get Topo Gun up here, or sorry, X normal. Let's bake and make sure these things look okay. Okay. High poly. What are we doing, Beastmaster? Beast. High poly. Poly. Oh, okay. Low. Okay, we have body to all parts. Okay. Let's see if we can do this right. Damn it. Let's give it a shot. Nope, absolute garbage. Absolute and utter garbage. I can't trust it. We have to make our own. Much better. There's not much as far as colors going on here, so don't worry. Sure. Actually, let's go back and try one more thing. Try adding AO. Interesting. Interesting. That means alpha. And object space. The rest should normal. Super jaws. Getting there. If this comes out good, then we'll be able to check the texture on it. Not great. We'll do that manually. Same thing as the other one. Just take this, duplicate, push out a little. Should be enough. Much better, look at that. Clean as a whistle. Body. Actually, that didn't look good at all. Really? Is that really the AO? Fucking kidding me? Oh, I'm an idiot. Alright. I'd already changed that. I was like, why is it so horrible? Alright. It's more like it, even though it doesn't really give me anything. Doesn't even look like an ambient occlusion, to be honest. Looks like the color. The texture. I'm gonna try one thing. Doesn't seem right. Yep, it's going over. For some reason, it's using the motherfucker. Alright, that's a little different. That's a lot better. Huh. Huh. Interesting. What? No, doesn't look right. No, oh, motherfucker, I thought I... Alright, I'm being silly. My apologies. Alright, for what it's worth, there we go from that. That's funny. Alright, let's go to the actual beast now, body. After that weird odyssey of, did I click this? No, I clicked this. Are you sure you clicked that? No. No, I'm not. So that's good to know, though, is that it doesn't work with the AO for some reason. Very interesting. Try this one. Yeah, it's a crazy one. It's got a cool ways moving around. It's really detailed compared to what's in there now. Man, do good. Do me proud. Nope. Of course I had to find a problem. So close too. Look at that. So fucking close. Alright. Well. Need to not do AO until I'm sure of the rest of it. Son of a bitch. Alright, well. Ah! do this shit, same as the others. So that, try not to have it intersect with itself. You can avoid it. Okay. Body. Cage. Okay. Son of a bitch, stop. Okay, turn that off. Beast. Okay, let's hope this works. No. Feet issues. Tail issues. Very close. So what we can do, we'll isolate those areas. In this case, feet. And tail. Yeah, he's fat little shit. He's got mouth too, though, don't worry. We'll see in a second. Come on. Yeah. Fuck. Is that visible? Is that what's causing it? Is there one more thing visible? Yep, that's what did it. Of course, fucking course. I'm an idiot. Alright. Woohoo! Now we want to do the AO. And then the vertex colors. Cool. So a little artifact, but whatever. AO. Okay. A little weirdy thing, but that's, yeah, that's super easy thing. And then AO now. Okay, let's do it. And now it looks like it's pretty good. And then we could go ahead and composite this. I just had a little piece of the tail that was visible while I was trying to bake a different part of him. So basically it's trying to look at, you know, I'm trying to look at the screen, but my hand's in the way. The tail being my hand in this case, so I couldn't, the renderer couldn't get a good vision of what it needed to render, so it had some errors, but once I hid the tail, then we were good. It pumps out some pretty good AO. I haven't used that in a while because I hadn't really needed to, but I like it. It's a lot more accurate than the edge mask I get. Nope, I did the high poly and ZBrush first, so I can show you that while this is rendering. So I started in ZBrush with a sphere, and I kind of go from there. I actually don't think I started with sphere. I started with like an elongated box for this one or some shit. Let's see what my number one looks like. So I started with this. Where is it? That's not what I started with. Oh, I saved that separately. Whoops, my bad. Alright, load. Did I get that far the first time? Alright, new. Yeah, I guess I got pretty far the first time. Alright, I guess I kind of brute forced it all the way, but I started with like a sphere, and then the latest one is, so, if I have to hide one of the top. So that's the high poly that I started, and then I went into Topo Gun, and then retopoed it. I just did that earlier tonight. And then, now that this is rendered, let's bring all this shit together. Come together, Photoshop. So alright. Luckily we don't have too many textures compared to normal. Fuck. No! Fucking Adobe. This is actually for alpha. No! There we go. Sorry, I can't see my keyboard, so sometimes I hit the wrong button. I should remap that invert selection. Why did I do that? Could I remap it too? No, fuck it, whatever. Too lazy. This is not right. Neither is this. This one we don't need either. Hooray! We should have only had like 8 or 9. Okay. First 3, so let's form a normal map. Normal. So in this case, there's the normal map in object space, the color map, which is just like really basic colors that I can use for either selection masks or just to paint over, and then the AO, which is a good base for lighting. So like if I start with this, throw the AO on top, it's gonna give me something like that. So it feels like it has a lot more depth already. I can paint on top of that. So it's just good information to have. It's all gotten from ZBrush. All of it. So this is all from the sculpt. So AO. And then I based another one that's just the alpha now. For the tail. The tail's just a thin plane. They could be. It depended on a couple things. In XNormal, you can't render it in one pass with vert colors on. Because when I try to do that, it just does a black and white version of the vert colors. So you have to shut it off. So it's a separate pass. And then there's a lot of just testing going on. So usually you could just do the color at the same time as the normal, just fine. But it looks like AO in it, you have to turn off the color, unfortunately. So it was basically 2 passes each. Maybe there'd be a lot of intersection if I moved them apart in space, yes. But it's just as easy for me to basically just do them out separately. But yeah, you could absolutely do it in one pass. You just need to make sure you separate them so there's no overlap, so the camera projection doesn't kind of screw up. Interesting. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Alright. So right now I'm just painting out that imperfection I saw very carefully. So each channel you see here, red, green, blue, they equal a different direction in the world, in the space. So I don't think that's visible enough to make a difference now. Okay, so that's my alpha now. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so alpha. Turn that off though. So now we get the whole map here. I'm just save this. Textures. So now what I can do, with and without, is grab the green channel of this and put that right in the post effect as well. So now I have this green channel. What I can do with this is kind of overlay it, and it'll give it like a directionality, as if a light is hitting it from above. So we can set that to overlay. All of a sudden, he has a lot more life to it. You can also set this, you know, lower opacity multiply or something like that. It's up to you. I usually do it as a light overlay. But I do want to add some color to those two things. So I have to combine them. The AO with that one. You have a pretty damn good starting place. Because this is where, you know, back in the day, you have to start painting over just flat colors. But now, we're given a great amount of detail to start with. So if I save this out. Let's see here. Thank you, Phil. So, I don't really like that far out. So we get a new material. Let's start applying those textures. Color on that. And then we got the... There we go. Boom. Already a little poly. Now let's get the normal. Yeah, kind of. That's true. Opposite space normal. And we got the normal map showing up. So already it's working. It's doing pretty good. Cool. So this is a Beastmaster Boar Ulysses for the Master of Beasts himself. Okay, so that's just, remember, I didn't even start texturing yet. That's just default, like, that's just the base. So that's pretty useful. Let's do the hand plane now. Combine all this together. Export, hand plane, beast. No, for hand plane, that's just straightforward. It's not slime, what the fuck? Outer space normal. Use render. Yes. Let's take a look at that. So this we can use to make a different kind of. So this is flipped. That's fine. That's easy. I'm not worried about that. It's weird, but ta-da. Alright, so some of this shit like weirds the fuck out. Like this is... Handplane has been doing this lately. I'm not sure why actually, but it's been doing a lot of this shit. Don't know why. It didn't used to do this to me, that's why it's confusing. I don't need this, because I could make out these maps from the other one, but it is confusing to me. I'm gonna have to ask. Let me save this out actually. Separately, I want to make sure I have this. I just wonder why it's giving me those errors. So I used to do it every single time and I never errors. That's why it's kind of like... Oh. Hold on. Yep. I could have swore I moved those fucking things over, didn't I? I'm confused. I could swear I moved all that over. Also, what's this shit? You son of a bitch. That's why. That's one reason why, at least. Alright. It's a little better. It's still not the right UVs. I'm so confused. Why did it... Huh. Very strange. What's this shit? Oh, yes. Oh, it's getting clicked off. Okay. Well, bro. Let's move this over again. I could swear I fucking did it before, too. Must have undid it. I'm surprised the object space, like, the baking worked. So, okay. Save, export. Hopefully this fixes that shit. Very strange. Nope. Okay. That's a million times better. Alright, that makes a lot more sense. It's because they were stacked on top of each other, UVs. Remember I was saying earlier that it could cause some issues? Well, it did cause some issues, and it was easy enough to fix, but it's something you always have to watch out for. Alright. So now I can take this, save it separately. This will be the normal map I use for the game. There we go. I'm also going to use this for Endu to bake a cavity map off of. I wouldn't really call it viable. You could make it work, but if you're planning on doing it seriously in any aspect later down the line, it's better just to learn the program you're going to be using. You can fuck around with Camp. Photoshop's actually pretty cheap now. Like I'm paying $10 a month. Hey, what's up, man? No, fuck Shrek. So I'm paying $10 a month for Photoshop. That's pretty fucking affordable. It's not free, no, but you can find free versions, and technically Adobe Photoshop CS2 is free, technically. So you can find that too, and have it on their website actually for free. But GIMP, I haven't used it myself, but like unless money is the prime reason, I say it's just learn Photoshop, honestly. I don't know if it's a good alternative. I don't know anyone using GIMP for this kind of work, so that's the most accurate thing I can say. Is I don't know anyone else that is using it for this kind of work. I'm sure there are people, but take what you will out of that. Let's look at the differences between these. Yeah, it depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do photo manipulation and stuff, or if you're just learning to paint. If you're just learning to paint, there's tons of programs out there like Art Rage, Painter. Photoshop is actually one of the worst ones to just paint. There's a program called Manga Studio 5, super good for drawing and painting. It really depends on your goal. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to learn to draw? Are you trying to learn to paint? Are you just manipulating photos? Because a lot of the work in Photoshop, honestly, as you see me doing now, I'm not doing any painting. I'm just kind of shifting stuff around layer-wise and preparing things, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'd say a lot of it depends on your goal. I got the hiccups. thought I told it to make 3 things. Bastard. Oh no, what have I done? Alright. What can this map be good for? Anyway, so having one, we could find a way to make this work. Yeah, painting is painting is painting. Program doesn't matter. Yeah, that's more drawing than anything, honestly. And drawing you can do with pencil or paper. That kind of stuff all comes down to just traditional art. Like, you don't need a computer at all. Yeah, no, most people suffer from blank paper syndrome. You don't need to worry about that. It's a matter of being able to force yourself to do it, and then set a goal. What are you trying to draw? Are you trying to draw, a turtle themed, conquer set or some shit? Just do a bunch of studies, look up turtles, draw them, 20, 30 times. But any program will do for that. So don't worry about your program. You want to focus on the actual skills necessary. Program is secondary to that. Basically, a program is just a means to an end. So it's nothing to. There's no wrong choice, I guess, in that respect. So those two did help. Yeah. We got a nice darkening path. Like crisped everything up. And then this thing, which kind of pulled out the edges a bunch. A soft light. That's pretty nice, actually. 100% would be too much, but 50%. That feels pretty good. It's pulling out the edges up top. Yeah. Both of those together is actually a damn good upgrade. I'm actually kind of surprised. We'll look at the upgrade in a second here. Let's take it out real quick. Let's check it. Check it out. Boom. Okay, yeah, that definitely feels better already. Let's get rid of this. It's just the texture alone. Cool. Awesome. Okay. This is gonna be fun. Alright, let me see what you're saying here. Yeah, man. So the thing is, you could do orthogonal drawings and everything, but there's still a lot missing because you're only getting 2 views, right? What happens in between those views, like, it's really helpful to have those, but a perspective drawing too is going to be probably the most valuable because you could do a perspective drawing, it gives both of that information, but it's not easy to do. So, like, yeah, everything you're going to want to do takes a lot of practice, and I'd say find out, what you're interested in drawing, and then just draw it a shitload. Learn about the fundamentals of drawing, just the fundamentals. You can just Google that. Literally, just fundamentals of drawing. I think there's 7 of them or so, but if you just get good at just 1 or 2, just like the drawing part, and then just basic color use or values. If you can learn values and perspective, that's all you ever need. But there's a lot to it. I can't say there isn't. It's a lot of work. But you could do whatever you want. Just expect there to be a lot of practicing. necessary. Because I can make this shit, but I still can't, to be honest, I still can't do a lot of stuff. Even drawing wise, I'm not that great at drawing. But I can get the job done kind of thing. I mean, yeah, you could definitely do that, but I'm saying like orthographic is usually just straight front or straight side, and you're missing a lot of other shape information that you would see in perspective. That's all I meant by that. Where am I finding this? What was that? Oh yes, the concept. Where's it? That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Okay, it's not showing. There it is. Okay. I'm just gonna line something up here. I can mess those up a little more later. Yeah, sculpting, you don't even need a model a lot of times, but it definitely helps to have a base mesh, which is just, yeah, like you're saying, a basic model in 3D. But that's still, those are like wildly different skills. Modeling basic shapes are even something that, you know, takes time and practice, and sculpting is a different skill completely. Sculpting is a lot closer to drawing than it is modeling. Modeling, you don't really need much art experience. Like, you can model just fine without ever learning to draw. So it is pretty different stuff. So you have to say to yourself, you know, what is your goal, and then find out, you know, what are the things that you need to learn to do something. You know, if you want to make an item, you know, do you need to know how to draw if you want to do concepts as well as model, or do you want to just model and then follow, okay, to that, you know, what skills do I need for that? But drawing is going to be useful regardless of what you want to do, so it's always a good choice in my opinion. But just know it is a shitload of work. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. But it's worth it. It's worth it if you can dedicate the time. Okay, so this guy, I'm gonna texture this guy tomorrow. I just want to get this ready for Andrew. Start animating. So what I can do here is, should we make this? Yeah, we should make this fine. So just line this shit up. Yeah, you don't need to know anything about animating either. It depends if you're making characters or stuff that would be animatable. Then you would need to know how to do animation. Um, but for the most part, you don't need to know animation either. Um, you just need to know how to understand 3D forms. That's pretty much it. And then what tools that you have within a program to recreate stuff. Like I started modeling with no drawing experience whatsoever, but then I learned gradually. It was more just, yeah, understanding a shape in 3D space. Um, let's see here. Techies, basically, I'm using it because it's just the thing I was used to most. I've only actually used it the same amount of time I've used Max. Because I used Max for 5, 6 years, actually. So I haven't even used Maya half the time I've used Max. But I switched jobs a couple times, and what happened is that they wanted me to use Maya, so I wanted the job. So I learned Maya, and I was really resistant to it at first. I was like, I don't want to fucking learn Maya. Maya's horrible. I don't want to learn that crap. And I was really against it. And then I wound up learning it during my last couple of weeks of the company I was at. And then the next company I went to used it. So it was like really good, transition. I was like, okay, well, they just kind of paid me to learn Maya. And then I was used to it to the point where I could navigate around, but I wasn't great. And I used that next job to learn more about it. And then that they had their own issues. But then after that, the next place also used it. So it was just kind of this rolling cycle of places that used Maya, and I just had used that pretty much nonstop for the last 2.5, 3 years. I stuck with it. Um, that's all. That's the only reason I use Maya, to be honest, because I'm used to it now. But I've grown accustomed to the tools it has. I love the pivot system. It makes it really fast to do stuff. There's some things I miss about Max, but honestly, like, it's done me perfectly fine. That depends, Invisible. There's uses for triangles. That's part of learning modeling in general, is learning where triangles are good to be. Like I just add one here, because if you see without it, it's folding between these two vertices, and I don't want it to do that because it's causing this concave part in his leg. So I'm basically forcing a triangle here so that it'll bend on those, and then we'll have a much rounder, instead of cutting down, much rounder silhouette. So it's all about where you put them. Like for Andrew, I put a lot in his knees and joints, because that's what's going to deform. Animation is just points in space moving around. Yeah, and you definitely take those things into account, though. Like I have these two loops close together because we want this thing to be able to move. So I wanted to add a secondary cut so you can move these away without affecting the overall shape. So if you watch, I could actually drag this outwards, and this still pretty much looks like a dark intersection. Not this down here, I can't use that for an example, but that's pretty similar, which I'll preserve your views. So I mean, so he could flare this out now with the other stuff, and that's only because the geometry was built in a way that allowed it. So this, it's not going to look completely weird. If I remove those and pulled it, you get all the white coming too. There's another example. Here's one I can do. Here, so he could pull this downwards and obscure the eye, essentially. Otherwise, if that loop was there, and I pulled this down, you see the eye the entire time. But with that there, we could fold this on top of it and you don't see the eye. So we could do stuff like really quick blinks. That's what he was looking to do, I think. Or just control the emotion kind of thing. So, but it's all stuff you pick up over time just by doing things. Or working on different projects. What am I doing? am I doing? Okay, so now this thing is 200 triangles over a budget. So we want to make a low poly version, essentially. After I do one more thing. I don't like that. Same. I have to fix that. Alright. So one thing with the LOD. Didn't get that right. Oh yes, this thing. Phone. Those novels. There we go. So now that's on both sides. And you'll see one thing I did here is I lined up these perfectly with the ones above it. So that way when it animates, essentially there won't be any gaps because the verts are in the same spots. It's stuff like that, but you learn by trial and error, you learn over time, all that fun shit. Okay. Do something tricky here. Take that, put this at the bottom here, and flip it. So now this way, it has a bottom and a top. There you go. That way, if he dies now, you can see the underside. That, however, is not optimized for. You can already see the gaps. It's not built for that. So let's go ahead and hide that. That's funny. Alright, now, okay, now there's no gap, except up here. Here, what does this? There we go. Better not be any funny gaps. Alright, good. Trying to purge all the gaps. Purge them all. Except for this one, obviously. It's completely intentional. There we go. Okay, I think that was all for the LD0. Alright, this is gonna be an alpha, so it's gonna look smoother. Oh, it's Moltunai. What's up, man? The Force Spirits, that'll be later. That'll be probably the last week of September. So the Force Spirits are done. We're just chilling on them, sitting on them right now until we finish the rest of the stuff. But they're done and ready, as is the Treant. So we're just getting a couple things done. But yeah, they'll be on. I'll say it here when we actually submit it to. But yeah, end of September most likely. Sooner, as soon as we can. But it's probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks. As much as it pains me to say. Okay. My stream crashed. Except Pokemon, I'm sorry. No, man, unfortunately I haven't been able to work on the chivalry shit at all. There's been so much other work that has to get done. So I would love to do the chivalry thing, trust me, but not yet. Alright, let's get this bad boy down. First thing we do, get rid of this shit I just made. I should probably get rid of that too. Actually, yeah, I probably can. Let's get rid of that too. Yeah, that's not gonna matter. Okay, next, get rid of this shit. Leave that one. Let's see here. So we got 182 to cut down. So what we want to do, we're actually gonna go and be an ass. Cut this motherfucker down. So it's 2182, right? That's like the Battlefield game. 2182. Alright. So it's 182 over. So what's 182 divided by half? 22 divided by 2. 91. So we gotta get 91 triangles down from whatever half of this is. So I said 91, right? Okay. So this is at 1091. I'm an idiot. So I just need to get to 1,000. Who would have fucking guessed? I'm an idiot. I didn't miss any comments. Just, you know, I was just talking to you. You weren't here. Nah, that's alright. Okay, let's clap some shit. $75 more. A mission. I actually only asked you if you could show any of your work art, because I was curious what your work art is like. If you do art at work, you know, if you do art at work, you know, if you do art at work. Just curious, you know, I was just curious. So curious. PNC. I don't know what that. What the hell does PNC mean? Is that like personal and something else? Oh, alright. Really? You work at a porn? Wait, do you really work at a porn place? Because that would be absolutely fucking awesome and hilarious. I think you're trying to fuck with me. I think you're trying to fool my brain. I don't think you work at a porn place. Oh, alright. You son of a bitch. I was gonna say, I don't think that's the case. Could it be? Cotton-sama? Cotton-sama! Onos. I'll leave that there. This stuff could totally get wrecked. Okay. What's that there? Private and confidential. Okay, gotcha. So sad now. I wanted to see your work, and now you're all like, no, fuck, can't see it, lol. And I'm just like, well, I guess she doesn't want me to look at her fucking work. Jeez. Fine. No, it's cool. I'll see it when it comes out. If it comes out, hopefully it comes out. And you could be like, hey guys, look at my awesome portfolio art of stuff I made at my job. Isn't my job so cool? Oh man, I love this job. So hopefully you can say that and throw stuff soon. Or more realistically, probably just nothing. It's on the inside of his leg. No one can fucking see the inside of his leg. We're fine there. Okay. Sorry, talking to self. Stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Is that where seam? Oh, seam there. Don't want to fuck with seam. So there's a little issue there, but maybe you can see it. Guy, give her some more. Guy and the man did point that 200. Better. What? That's hilarious. That's real life, man. It's real fucking life. So we need another 39. We get that. We get that. Right now I'm basically deciding where best to take detail out. So we only have a certain amount of detail that we could use. So I'm like, well, where is it least used? You know what I mean? Where's it least? I don't know that it's being used. Like the tips of these for some reason. Whoa! I don't need that. People are clapping apparently. You're welcome. I was just answering a question. It's not that big of a deal. Stop clapping. Alright, so that's probably fine. Thanks. Oh, it's live, okay. Okay. 25 more, 25. So we could just combine some of this shit. It's pretty fucking straightforward. It's still plenty. I keep his head the same. I don't mind. Not that I edited too much. Yeah, I'll be fine. Seven more. Seems pretty straightforward. Done. Remember, this is game view up here, so I don't mind getting rid of some stuff. Just give me something on this foot. This fucking yellow. I'll let that do whatever it wants. So this can definitely come up there. I don't think that's doing anything. That's pretty much the same shit. Yeah. Well, what a different point. That's the same shit. Cool. Alright, well that's 1,000. We're good. We're good to go. Pretty sure that's everything too, yep. Inside the mouth. I could totally collapse all that. Fucking stupid, aren't I? Alright, whatever. That's okay. Shh. Shh. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So we're just gonna check one last thing. Soften it. Let's see if there's any hard edges. Ready to fix. I don't see any hard edges. Should be good then. Oh no. Does GIMP have pressure sensitivity? I'm not, like I said, I'm not familiar with GIMP. I would have to imagine it has it, but that's strange. Okay. Okay, well, I need to change two things. One, what the fuck is this shit? Yay. No. No, no, no. Okay. Good. Check all this shit. Soften. Okay. Cool. Okay. What's this shit? Yeah, there we go. That's it. Very, very, very small differences. Okay. So it's 2,000 on the fucking dot. This one is a little over. Awesome. Okay. So I think we could start texturing it tomorrow. This is enough to give to Andrew for sure. Alright, save. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I got everything I wanted to get done tonight. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Tomorrow, be texturing this bitch. So you see him go from this to a fully textured version, hopefully looking, you know, closer or better than that. So adding the stuff on his leg, giving him a lot of definition throughout, fixing some of the smaller bugs you see there. The tongue, I kind of wish I did the pose version in low poly too, so you didn't see it like this. This is how I model it for Andrew, and then he puts life into it. So that will obviously not look straight out like that. But yeah, the rest of it, adding more shadows and whatnot, the usual. So there's it unlit right now, so that's the current textures. Pretty cool. Very clean. Alright, I'm getting out of here. Have a good one, guys.